All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Iowa 911 Communications Council meeting for Thursday, April 9th, 2026. Kara, could we have a roll call?
Chris Collins. Here. Jeff Miller.
Here.
Jane McSheehy. Mike Bryant.
Mike Bryant's here.
Eric Daw. Or Tom Berger.
Tom Berger's here.
Thank you. Lynn Tazioli.
Lynn is here.
Josh Duden. Here. Rob Dennert.
Rob's here.
Adam Well.
Adam is here.
Or Tom Weeble.
Okay, thank you. Could I get a motion to approve today's agenda?
Lynn, motion to approve.
I'll say.
Do you have a second? All right, any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And same sign. Motion carries. And can I get an approval, a motion to approve the March 12th, 2026 minutes?
Call for motion.
Have a second?
No second.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And same sign. Motion carries. Blake, do we have a report?
Two slides pulled up. Right. As far as the legislative update, there really has not been any activity whatsoever related to 911. The one bill that is still alive, Senate File 2458, is still technically alive. It's in Ways and Means Committee in the Senate, which means it's a live round throughout the duration of the session. There's been no activity on that. I've heard it's not going anywhere, but don't hold me to that. Things change. So as far as I know, there's no activity on that. As far as outstanding invoices from the Q2 quarterly payment and invoice process, those were due February 28th. We've received all two. The proverbial check is in the mail on both of those, but you can see which counties still outstanding. We don't receive those by the end of the month. When we do the Q3 payments, we will withhold Q2 amount as part of that payment process. Been updating you since October on where we stand with all the annual forms. We did eventually receive all of those and receive them on time. The legal deadlines for those were March 31st. We did get those. So appreciate everyone's efforts on that. We have been updating you periodically on where we're at with our data center moves, focused primarily on moving West Des Moines to Raleigh, North Carolina. That is well underway, and I will turn it over to Bill with Comtech Illyrium for an update on where we're at on the details of that.
Thanks, Blake. This is Bill Burnett with Comtech. Hello, good morning, everybody. Things are going well. You know, as everybody knows, we have a hard date to get out of the West Des Moines data center of June 30th. We intend to be breaking down equipment just prior to that. And all traffic that's on West Des Moines now will be on Raleigh. So we've started our PSAP testing and migrations. We've started with Zetron. We've done about 12 to 15 so far. We're going to be doing more today. There's no interaction needed from any of the PSAPs other than you will get a test call just to verify connections and such, and that would be testing over the new Raleigh data center. So that will happen. All the Zetron PSAPs should be migrated, or will be migrated, I should say, by the end of this month, by the end of April, and likely sooner than that. Just as we go along, there's little things here and there that we might have to fine tune with Zetron as we test each PSAP out. The other CHE vendors, so if you have Central Square, if you have Intrado, Emergency Call Works, those three I've been in communications with. They're along the way. I would suggest, if you have not heard from your CHE vendor, other than Zetron, of course, if it's one of those I just named out, that you might reach out to them. They're all doing it kind of a different way. It's all going to be, in the end, working the same. But in regards to maybe their communication with you, you may have not, you may have received a quote from them, you may not have. But if you haven't heard from them, I would just suggest reaching out. And I'm just going to give a few names here. Hope that's okay, Blake. Central Square, I'm working with Terry Shamp. So if you haven't heard from Central Square, I'd suggest reaching out to Terry. Lumen, for Entrado Vipers, Charlie Knox, and Motorola Emergency Call Works, Ryan Fehrenbach. So again, I'm working with all of those. We're making progress. Just want to make sure that on your end, if you haven't heard from them or aren't communicating with them, it's probably a good idea just to just so that you're aware. So all of these PSAPs, the CHE vendors, all the PSAPs will need to be migrated. Our goal is by the end of May, and then that gives us a full month, before we break down equipment. So that's kind of where we're at. No big red flags. And overall things are going well. Any questions for me?
Not seeing any. Thank you, Bill. So that is, again, moving the West Des Moines Data Center over to Raleigh, North Carolina. For those that have been paying attention, we are also working towards moving the Davenport Data Center over to Council Bluffs. That has not been the primary focus thus far. We're kind of in the infancy of that particular move. Once West Des Moines is done, we'll turn our focus to that. The next bullet also has gotten a lot of our effort over the last 12 months or so, and that's moving the ingress points of where the wireline carriers meet within the state to enter the 911 system. Historically, those have been at the Lumen-owned legacy selective routers. They ingress as TDM or analog. We need to upgrade those facilities to SIP. And that's, if you remember, we've talked the FCC report and order on next gen 911 transition. That's what we're talking about as we talk through that side of things. We've been working with our Communications Alliance. That's kind of the umbrella organization of a lot of the rural telephone companies within the state on a plan that will technically work and is feasible for the majority of their members. So happy to report that we've kind of come to an agreement on where those locations will be. For PSAPs, nothing changes, nothing new. For telephone companies, towards the end of this calendar year, we'll indicate our readiness for that migration to happen. Basically indicate our readiness that we're ready to receive that traffic in SIP format. And that triggers a number of things. The nationwide wireline providers have 6 months then to begin passing their traffic in SIP format at those locations. And then the rural carriers have 12 months to deliver their traffic in SIP format at those locations. So again, we're expecting by the end of the calendar year to indicate our readiness on that process. We're working with the ICN to enable those locations, both kind of technically, financially. So that is well underway. Any questions on that particular update? Not hearing or seeing any. And then just a reminder, the end of last fiscal year, we did another round of procurement for children's activities books. We went through a phase where we were kind of limiting how many a PSAP or a county could request, just to make sure everyone had a chance to get them. We're well beyond that at this point, and we still have some available. So if you are still interested in receiving some children's activities books for fairs, festivals, whatever you might have coming up this spring and summer, just email me and we can get those over to you. Update on GIS grants. For the entire quarter, all the counties met the benchmark, so we're still batting 100,000. Throughout the 3 quarters thus far, all 99 counties have met the benchmarks every single month. So good job, everyone.
Brenda raised a hand.
Oh, I did not. Brenda, you had a question?
Yeah, does that mean that our recurring costs would go away, Blake, once those SIP IP deliveries from the telcos?
Yep, that's the plan.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, moving on then to public education and training. There are 2 training fund applications on the agenda for later on in the meeting. It is the Spring APCO Conference and the Spring Fall Conference. The Spring NINA Conference. Sorry, my bad on that typo. As a reminder to council members, both APCO and NINA have a standing up to $5,000 approval for their conferences, but we still like to make the specific approval official. So that will be later on in the agenda. And then just for everyone's awareness, we're sitting at just under $11,000 remaining in the training and public education fund for the fiscal year that ends June 30th. That ends my portion of the brief. I will turn it over to Zetron for an update on shared services.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. Yep. Bill already talked about the Comtech host move. Just we're working directly with them for the 84 PSAPs that we manage directly, and also the 3 non-Iowa shared services that are also using Max call taking. So we expect to be done by the end of April. And then as Bill said, Comtech will be moving on to the other service providers. Next slide. As part of the NINA APCO conference coming up, we are having a user group. I know Marie Carlson has shared this information the last couple months. It hasn't changed too much, just great plans coming along. It'll be a place that you'll definitely want to be. You'll be able to hear from Scott French, our Zetron president, on the vision for the future. Blake will be presenting. We'll have lots of interesting topics around GIS, school floor plans, CAD, EMD, cybersecurity, and of course AI, you know, the big topic in 911. Next slide. So you'll just be able to connect with a lot of industry experts, as well as you know, the people that you already work with, most of them already on this call. Marie Carlson can give you more information at marie.carlson@zetron.com. And on the next slide, I'm not sure if people can get this. You could probably use this QR code if you are on the Google Meet. Not sure if it'll work from the slide presentation if you're in the room, but it will be in the meeting notes. Or reach out to Marie and she can send you this QR code, or reach out to me and I can send it to you as well. Next slide. No changes in the map right now, but we do have a lot going on, so there will be some changes in the future. Next slide, please. Just a reminder, the training portal is available to everyone. Whether you're with shared services or not, you can reach out to Christy W at motivations.com, and just a little snapshot of the current stats that we have there. 13,000 courses have been enrolled, and 7,700 courses have been completed. Any questions for me? Thank you much.
And that concludes my briefing as well. If there's any questions, I would take them.
Okay, thank you. All right, as mentioned, we do have training fund requests relating to the Spring APCO Conference. Program is looking for funding is reigniting passion, purpose, and performance in 911, and when every second counts, thriving under pressure. That ask is $3,768.80. Then we also have the Spring NINA Conference program called Center Culture and Communication, Leadership in Every Chair, and that ask is $5,000. So a total of $8,768.80. Unless there's some reason we need to break these out, I would entertain a motion to approve those training fund requests.
Bryant will move to approve both of them together if we can do them together.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Berger will second.
Any discussion?
I'll abstain.
Okay, we have one abstain. Abstain?
Linda
All right.
abstain as well.
Okay. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. And the motion carries. Okay, do we have any technical advisories? Okay, hearing none, can we get an update from Iowa statewide interoperable communication systems board, Ms. Nichols?
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning. I'm working on a new informational on encryption, but it's not yet complete for April. But it is a timely topic. There's rapid adoption of encryption due to some different things, including AI capabilities. The ISIX board IMED grant received a 6-month extension, so we'll be continuing to work on that through the end of September. Planning continues for the Control Burn Week in the Les Hills. Number of people signed up to work on their task books. We've got a good group coming. We'll be there all week. Deployables are being secured. There's no new news on the INTD course that we've been approved for and I've been talking about. So that's on hold for right now. And then the only other thing I'd like to mention, which you've probably seen a lot about, is the cyber threats for critical infrastructure are heightened due to the Middle East conflict. I've heard from my SWIC partners across the nation that communication centers have been affected in a number of ways in a number of places. So just keep that as a reminder. And that's all I have, unless there's any questions for me.
Okay, thank you. All right, we would usually hear from Chris Myers today, but not be. Any legislative issues? Any information sharing by council members?
Chair, this is Mike Bryant.
Yes, Mike.
I have a couple of questions, and I'm not trying to, I'm in the chicken and the egg of where I want to start, but let me give you a little background. My home county, our place happens to be on the Hancock-Wright County line. The topic is addressing and directions. So I live on 100th Street. Our farm is on 100th Street. I have 110th Street south of me, and I have 110th Street north of me. Most counties, I believe, go like mile markers from smaller to larger as you go from south to north. For whatever reason, Wright County did it in reverse. We had an incident last fall, and I have not got a hold of my sheriff Slutenhofer or the Hancock County, but the gentleman was trapped. He called in, and coincidentally, the exact same house number, if you will, addressing number was 3 miles south and 3 miles north of that particular point. So they went to the wrong location. And then more recently, there was an incident last weekend, and it something on 100th Street, and it came up odd again. I just had talked to one of the deputies. So I'm going to look into that a little bit. But does anybody remember when we went to the E911 or then now 911 addressing? Was there rules, laws, suggestions as to which way this whole layout was supposed to go back in the 90s?
So I know there are best practices for addressing, but it is a local function.
Okay.
And we have seen instances like that in the past, especially across county borders. If you can send me details, I can have Geocom look at it and work with both counties. At the end of the day, somebody's either address might have to change, or the maps might need to be updated within systems as well to make sure that responders are going to the right place.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying, I don't know. I didn't know whether to ask here first, or I haven't had time to get a hold of the fellows up there involved, but it just, I guess kind of selfishly, I'm looking at myself. If I'm at my location, I think part of it might be, and I need to check into this too. The town of Goodell, in Hancock County, 5 miles north of Belmont. I don't know that they have a post office postmaster anymore, and it could even be partly on, are you saying Belmont or Goodell? And even if you say Goodell, it might still revert back to Belmont, which kind of gets confusing as well. So I'll get some more information and check back with you, Blake. Thank you for your
Thank you.
time.
Okay, any other sharing by council members? Yeah, we don't have any unfinished business or new business or travel requests. Do I have any business from the floor of the folks in this room? Any business from those joining us virtually?
Hi, Chair. This is Marie Carlson, the account executive for Iowa through Zetron. And I just wanted to say regarding the conference coming up on April 22nd, if any of you are using Zetron today or planning to, this would be the most valuable day you could invest in your system all year. You're going to have direct access to Zetron leadership and engineers and Iowa specific 911 updates. And you can get any, troubleshooting or any of that done and have your issues fixed immediately. So that day would be your day to show up and get some free meals and network with other people that are using Zetron. So I hope to see everyone there. We have a good list going, and I'm hoping to see more people register with the QR code that we posted today. Thank you. Oh, and people were wondering what time it was starting. We have breakfast from 7:30 to 8:30, and then the event starts at 8:30.
Okay, thank you. That's very good for folks to know. Anything else? Okay, not hearing any. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
All the motion.
All right, have a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.